you will land on your feet. This is a declaration that one of the Rosey Life course and community members shared in a success story yesterday, I believe, and she posted this in detail, and I'm going to read it to you because it is literally step by step on how to manifest anything: money, health, an SP, a career, whatever it is that you desire. The ingredients, once again, and I shared another success story that one of the subscribers had posted on one of my videos, and this one is inside the Rosey Life course and community, and I absolutely love the success story, and we're going to break it down so that you get all the juicy golden nuggets out of this and apply it for yourself right now. So stick with me, you're gonna love this story. Can't wait to share it with you. But let's get started. So my name is Rose, and welcome to The Rosey Life, where we help you free your mind and follow your heart so you live a life that you love. If you're interested in working one-on-one with me, you can go to RoseyLife.com. All the details down below. I've added different coaching packages and how to book sessions with me. So many of you have asked, and I've created different packages. So you can go there, or you can join the Rosey Life course and community. I show up every week and I do live Q&A, and I also started taking questions inside of the community where you can ask as many questions as you want, and I will stay on as long as you guys have questions. I come in, and I guess in a way that I do what Abraham Hicks does, is that hot seat coaching, and I do that a lot. Like I did it today, I did it last week with different clients, and they're having so many wonderful breakthroughs. So if you're interested in joining the community, or you want me all to yourself in a one-on-one, you can go to RoseyLife.com and read all the options. Okay, so let's get to this amazing success story from one of the Rosey Life course and community members. And that is how she titled the subject line in the private forum, because this is away from Facebook. This is a private learning platform that I provide. And that's the subject line was, "You will land on your feet." Now, before I read the story, it is very important that I underline this, and I cannot stress this enough, okay? And that is what I'm about to share with you, what the things that she manifested, and very quickly, right? It doesn't matter what she manifested. And if your mind goes to, oh, well, it's just that. Oh, but that's not what I want. Oh, but that's different than what I want. I want you to notice that reaction or trigger that you are having when you are hearing the story, because that reaction and that trigger is valuable information for you, showing you what you tell yourself as to why you don't have what you want. So instead of judging the thoughts and judging your reactions, I want you to take note, even pause the video and listen to that feeling, even if it's slight. Listen to that feeling that pops up, that little trigger, because that's trying to tell you what you are believing to be true. Because when you hear a success story, if you feel like it's different than your situation, or that's different, or what she said is the matters, or the affirmation she uses matters, all of that is trying to tell you the conditions, the rules that you're making for yourself, and that is why you aren't seeing what you want, okay? So I wanted to start off with that because like I told another client, the law does not care. It's like electricity. It's always on and ready for you to plug in. What are you plugging in? Whatever you believe to be true, whatever assumption it is. The law doesn't care if you plug in a toaster or a Tesla. It works. It is you deciding if it's going to work or not, because it always works, and it always works according to whatever you plug into it, okay? So let's start with the story, and then we're going to break it down because it is so good, you guys. It is so good. So again, it says, you will land on your feet. And she wrote will in capitals. She said, let go of the shoulds and the have tos now, she wrote in capitals. I wanted 3 things today: a new pair of headphones, Chick-fil-A, and gas. So she wanted those 3 things today, that same day. She said, what was my state of mind? At first it was, I don't think I'll have enough money in between now and payday. I'm worried I'll spend it all and not be able to afford everything. What did I do? I told myself, I can feel this way, but nothing in capitals is going to withhold my good from me. I'm worried, but that doesn't even have to have the power to withhold my desires from me. So she disregarded her feelings and thoughts. She said, nothing has the power to withhold my desires from me. I went to order food off the Chick-fil-A app and I had enough points for free fries. I clicked it, thought I clicked it too early and wanted to see how I could apply the points to my order. I searched and found the order online and I went back to check my awards on the app. I also had a free sandwich deal that I wasn't aware of, and that was free without my having to spend any points. My order ended up being around $2.14 instead of $9.50 as usual. So there she got what she wanted. I went to the gas station next. Someone who was mute and couldn't speak saw that I had money sitting on my lap inside of my car. I decided to give him some of the cash that I had. I started worrying again, and then I told myself that is okay. But still, you will land on your feet, period. So she felt inspired to give that person some of the cash that she had, even though it was little. She gave him some of it, and then she worried, why did I do that, right? But she wanted to, and she followed her heart. I told myself that I will find headphones cheaper than $10, and sure enough, I did at Walgreens. The headphones were $4.99, and I decided I'll buy two. Went up to the cash register. The total was around $8. I was surprised because it should have been at least $10. Sure enough, there was a discount that wasn't advertised that made the second pair around $2. But I remembered that I might have some points on my account, and I got $2 off on top of that. So the total was $6 for two pair. Moral of the story: let go of the need to manifest it in the right way, she says, or correct way. She says, let it go. I kept telling myself that I needed to be consistent, that I need to be positive, that if I reacted, that all is lost and I'll have to hit the reset button. That if I worry, have fear, then my desires would be withheld from me. As if the universe or God has a slight vendetta against me. No, you need to embrace the law in your own way. You are the law and you are uniquely you. We all are one. No one's opinion is more valuable, right, or truer than yours. I hope this helps someone a little. Don't forget, trusting yourself and in your power is paramount. Be bold. Believe in yourself. Oh, I got the goosebumps, you guys, from reading that. Again, because I've read it a couple times, and it is so wonderful. And all other people in the community also just responded, and they're just like, thank you. Oh my God, this is so amazing. So this is the kind of thing that we do in the Course of Community, because they post stuff and then they're encouraging each other. They're dissecting these success stories, and they're like, yes, I get, now I have a light bulb moment. So I just love this story so much, because at the front, even when I commented on her success story in the forum, I said, this is so amazing that if I was in front of her, I would give her a standing ovation for mastering the law right there. She mastered it, okay? And then I also posted that if any one of you are saying, well, that's just a Chick-fil-A, it doesn't matter. The law, remember, doesn't care if you're posting in, if you're plugging in Chick-fil-A or $1 billion. It doesn't care. It works. Period. You are the only one saying, well, that's different. Well, you have to feel different. We have to have a self-concept about money. You have to have a self-concept different about SP. No, the law works, period, without any rules and any conditions. So let's get into this further. So this was her statement, that this was her assumption, okay? She wasn't imagining herself eating a Chick-fil-A sandwich. She wasn't imagining herself with new headphones in her ear. She decided what she wanted But her assumption, anytime she felt doubt, anytime she felt any thought of opposite, she went to, you will land on your feet no matter what. That was her assumption, and she had this strong conviction, no matter what, I will land on my feet. So what I love to do, you guys know I love to look at words, right? So then I started looking at the metaphysical meaning of these two words that really stood out to me, will and feet, because I've seen them quite a bit when studying scripture in different authors as well. So will, right, is a directive power of man. So your will is a directive power, meaning you are deciding what gets plugged into the power or plugged into that electricity, right? That is your free will. Choosing, deciding what is getting plugged in. That means what you're assuming, what you want, what you're desiring. So that is what the will. Feet is a really interesting one, especially with scripture, because feet it's funny, right? We hear all kinds of sayings about the feet, but the feet actually represents in scripture understanding. It's your understanding which contacts with substance, meaning it is your understanding of consciousness that comes into contact with whatever you have willed. So the more you hold, and this was really cool, right? The more you hold onto beliefs or conditions, the heavier you are on your feet. Meaning it's like you're carrying a backpack. All right, you're carrying a backpack full of bricks, and all of those bricks are beliefs or assumptions or conditions or rules or things that you think you have to change or do or swap out or stop thinking, like she says, like have positive thoughts and not react negatively in those things, right? It's like the more you put in that backpack, the heavier you are on your feet. And your feet are the most willing part of your entire body. They walk you everywhere. They get you go to the bathroom. They get you out of bed. They get you to go to work. You go to work out. You exercise. You walk around. You jog. You yoga. Your feet are the most willing part of your body, which is why it's brought up so much in scripture of the washing of the feet. The washing of the feet is cleansing yourself of all your old beliefs that do not align with the truth of who you are, love, whole, complete, and perfection. So the cleansing of the feet is letting go of all the extra weight of your beliefs and your conditions, right? So the lighter you are on your feet, the lighter you land on your feet. Right? So the lighter you are is rather what I wanted to say is the lighter you land on your feet, because now you don't have all that extra weight to put on your feet and you land lighter. And why I thought this was so amazing is because that is what she said. You will land on your feet light. She was light about it. Right? She had that conviction. She let go of all the doubts and the fears and the needing to feel good and think right, and she let that go, and she landed light on her feet. And I think that is so incredible, because that was in her affirmation, her assumption, right? You will land on your feet without knowing. She was declaring who she was. She was directing her power and claiming who she is and allowing herself to let go of all the doubts and fears. Do you see? It's so cool, right? This is why I wanted to dig into that statement further. So, and then she further again, she says, I don't think I'll have enough. That's how she started. And a lot of people comment and say, I want to manifest money for coaching. I want to manifest money for this or that, the other. And this is what she did. She had that same doubt as many of you do. I don't think I'll have enough. I can feel this way, though. She says she allowed herself to have that thought and that feeling. Do you see? But she says, I can feel this way, but nothing is going to withhold my good from me. I can think this, I can feel this, I can doubt this, but nothing is going to withhold my good from me. That was her belief. She chose she would land on her feet. And I want to leave you with this, and this is from St. Augustine, and it's a quote from him. And it says, God is a circle that centers everywhere and that circumferences nowhere. And this was actually a challenge for me to draw a picture of, okay? Because it's not drawable, because there is no limit So that's why we don't draw pictures of God or a deity, or we can't pinpoint where God is or who we're talking to or what it is, because we immediately think of a Jesus poster you see in the basement of a Sunday school church, right? Some blonde dude with white robe and a beard. You immediately want to think that. Well, that's not God, and God's not on a cross either, crucified. Like Neville Goddard says, you put these little symbols around your house thinking that that is where God is. No, God is not on a heaven, big buff dude wearing a nice robe, Greek style. No, that's not it either. The mind wants to attach itself to some image to cling on to and hold responsible and account or blame as to why something isn't working. You can't, because God is principle and a presence. It's not a thing. God is a presence, and you practice, and I love Eric Butterworth talks about this quite a bit. And actually, a lot of teachers from the Unity churches talk about this, is that you practice God's presence. Practice the presence of God, because that is what God is. And God is in you presently 24/7. So you practice the presence of God by being still and know that you are in the flow. Know that you are one with God, right? So I did an attempt to draw this, you guys. Don't criticize my beautiful drawing. And if you do, I don't care. I know sometimes I get these little nasty comments on my YouTube channel, and I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. Because when you see that, right, and this goes for you personally in your own realm, right? But sometimes if I see like a comment that, some comment, I know that it's a reflection of something old within me, a way that I used to think, a former version of me, but it also reflects the person writing the negative comment, right, of something that they're currently dealing with and they're currently are seeing in themselves, and then that is why they lash out and will write something in an attempt to be hurtful. So I get it, and it's okay, because I love you no matter what. I love you, and I know that the more I love you, the more that I'm loving me too, because you're perfect no matter what you write or dislike on my content, and I'm perfect, and I love all of us, okay? So here is the little picture. So that's the person, okay? And this is what he says: God is a circle that centers everywhere and that circumferences nowhere. In other words, if you guys ever seen, like on a movie, they have like a gun points, or in a video game, and there's always like a circle, right? And in the center, it's a dot, because they're looking where they're going to shoot, where you're going to point out. And it always has like these little lines around it, or a circle, but at the center it's a dot, and that's what they're looking for. Well, that center, right, is your awareness. So there's you, your eyes, right, whatever it is that you look at, a pillow, a person, you're thinking about a thought, your imaginal act, or you're looking at the sun, the sky, a cat, a dog, whatever. That is the center of God. You're always, wherever your eyes are, that is what you are. That is a point center of God, right? God is a circle that centers everywhere. So no matter where you look, within awareness, you're looking out here with your eyeballs, you are looking at the center of God, because it's coming from you, okay? But also, right, it circumferences nowhere, meaning there's no limit. You can't measure it. You can't contain it. I can't even draw a circle. No matter how big the circle is, it still wouldn't be big enough to show you how big God is, because wherever you look, it's always the center of your awareness, the center of God, the center of the universe, whatever you have your eyes on. So it always moves with you. Whatever you're aware of, the center of God is what you're looking at. So I just love that so much. But in other words, there's no spot where God is not. No matter where you look, you are looking at the heart, the center of God, because that is who you are. You are looking as God, not at God. You are looking as God at everything. That's why the center of God is whatever you have your thought, your focus, your imaginal act, anything on. So I'm going to leave you there, you guys. Hope you enjoy the video. Hope you enjoy Rubio's pillow. He's not real. It's just a pillow that I made for my son. But thank you so much for being here, and thank you for liking the video and for subscribing to The Rosey Life and for your love and support. I love you all so, so much, and I thank you again. I appreciate you being here because you're all freaking amazing, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.